Happy Easter. It's a whopping 26 degrees out here in Vermont, so it's so cold. And out here in the current studio kiln room area, it's about 40. So it's a little cold, but it's gonna get better. This is probably the last of the cold weather. Hopefully. So I've got a glaze kiln to share with you that we're going to open. I glazed this on Wednesday, Thursday, pushed the button Friday morning. It fired all day Friday, shut off at about 11 o'clock Friday night. Has been cooling Friday night, all Saturday night, and now here we are Sunday morning, and we're going to open it up. The kiln's at 95 degrees, which 95 is usually okay to open your kiln, but when it's only about 40 degrees in the space, that is a 50-degree difference. So there's some risk of it being a little too much of a shock, but I think it'll be all right. I'm not wearing gloves, so 95 will actually feel really nice on my hands. So let's give it a go and see what happened. I haven't even peeked. Now I will put this out there at the beginning. I glazed everything and I was loading the kiln, and as I was loading the kiln I realized I forgot to make cone packs. I was completely out. So I always fire with cone packs, but what do you do when you don't have any? And I didn't have any self-supporting cone holders. So my choices were what? No cone pack, or make cone packs and hope they don't blow up, which they would because the clay would be wet. So there's no cone packs in here. Am I concerned? No, because I use cone packs all the time. Every firing, my kiln fires very consistently. I know what it's going to do. I will be shocked if it's any different. Besides, the readout that I have on my Compu controller is the exact same. I don't like to go by the computer on the kiln. Normally, I really like my cone packs for my guides because that really shows us our heat work. That's our time and temperature working together to melt our glazes. But you know, it was either that or no glaze firing, and I wasn't waiting. So there's a bunch of my new Celadons in here, brushed on, because that's what we've been doing lately, is brushing on Celadons. They are dip and pour glazes, so they're formulated to be dipped into a bucket. But some people don't like dipping and pouring, and sometimes there's pieces that just work better when you brush them on, like large platters and large bowls and things. So, you know, so let's get right in it. Oh, we're warm. I feel nice. Yay! So this is a plate that I actually glazed during ClayShare Con right here. And this is all brushed on glaze. So the dip and pour, and this is my Celadon. The blue is Himalayan blue poppy. The green is Lily of the Valley green. And I brushed them on using a nice big thick mop brush. And the key to brushing on dip and pour glazes, they're very different than your traditional brush on glazes. You only need one coat and you want it pretty thin, like the consistency of whole milk, maybe cream. But really, it needs to stay thin. If you go thick, you're going to get crawling. It is not supposed to be thick. So please don't treat them like your brush on glazes normally. You don't need 3 coats. No, no, no. All right, look how beautiful this came out. Brushed on. Gorgeous. Nice. I love it. This is so perfect for Easter. Yay. All right, put this over here. I have to clean the pots off the baby kiln. These are to be bisque. So let me move these out of the way because I'm going to want to stick some things on here. I know I will. Just a few months and I'll have the new kiln. We'll have the new kiln, my new big kiln, right? That's my E28S. That's wider than this, but it's only 2 sections high. And then this L&L, my E23T, and then my baby L&L in the new studio, which is being built right on the other side of that wall. Well, and then a few 100 yards away, but it's still close. And it will be heated. Not that I'll need it come June and July, but it won't take long to need the heat again. Oh, mugs. We got mugs. Let's show mugs. Look how sweet these are. Oh. So I made these kind of in the mind that one I'm probably going to keep for me for my birthday gift. I like to make myself a mug every year. But I use Colors for Earth, for the coloring, I flooded. So if you watched my flooding tutorial, that's how I did the colors on here. And then the inside is my wild aster Celadon. I might move that light for us to get a little more inside pots. The lighting in here is not as good as the upstairs lighting. And then a little light flux. That's what I put on to get the melty melty. Isn't that sweet? And this rolling pin is my Woodblock Flowers mini roller. I did two. I did a big one and a little one. Not sure which one I like best. They're both very sweet though. We'll put those over there. Continuing on the mugs. So I brushed these glazes on all of these just so we are clear. Oh, they're so awesome. So these are my Celadon dip and pour glazes brushed on. Let's just start with this one. So what did I do? I got 3 mugs that I did. We'll pull all 3 up right here and I'll talk about all 3. So it's basically the same process. You know, these were hand-built mugs, bisque fired. The texture is the Minnie's lace that I did. And I applied Speedball Royal Purple underglaze to the surface, watered down, and then wiped it back. So that's what gave that dark color, that dark staining. And there's a little bit on the bottom even. And then after that dried, I wiped it back, and after it dried, I went ahead and I brushed on 1 coat of my Himalayan Blue Poppy. And you can see I didn't brush it on in a straight band. It's brushed on wibbly wobbly like this. Give it a little movement. You know, we've got texture in here. We've got some great organic lines going around. We have this nice round belly. So I wanted to play with that a bit. If I did a straight line, that would have been really harsh and you would have noticed the change from one color to the other. Celadon glazes don't move and flux and melt a lot. They don't run a lot. They're very static. They're very stable. They stay put. So if you brush a line, a band, that band is going to stay there. And you're going to really see that line from one, you're going to see the line from one to the other color switching. So you have to think about that when you're glazing and keep that in mind with these particular type of glazes. So that's why I went with something a little more of a curve, because we kind of hide where the two come together and they blend a bit better. So here we have Himalayan Blue Poppy brushed on 1 coat on the bottom, and then the top is my Wild Aster, that's the purple, and that was brushed on as well. Just 1 coat. I could have gone a little thicker. You can see they're a little bit on the thin side, and part of that is because I had applied the royal blue underglaze, which was watered down. So already I'm putting a lot of moisture into the bisque piece. Then I wipe it back with a wet sponge, which is putting more water into the bisque piece. And then I'm applying a glaze on top. So the clay itself, the bisque piece, was already very saturated with water. They had a lot of moisture in it. So if I let it dry a few hours or maybe to the next day, then glazed, it would have done a thicker coat, but because the clay was already so full of water, it wasn't absorbing as much glaze as it normally would. So when you're brushing it on, not as much is sucked in, right? So the inside's also Wild Aster. And then again, I did that light flux from Mako. See a little band, right down there. Isn't that pretty? So that's what I did there. And I like it. I'm used to so here, I'm just going to put this out there. If you see me looking over here, it's because I'm used to the camera lens being there, but the camera lens on this one is over here. So it throws me off. Anyhow, it turned out really nice. I'm happy with that. And then I did another one. Oh, this is my favorite. This one. Look how great this is. Okay, so same thing. Royal Purple Speedball Underglaze, watered down and applied, and then wiped back. And then after that, I applied 1 coat of my Lily of the Valley green, and you can see how it's see how we got the little wibbly wobbly going on? I applied 1 coat of that, and then on top of that, I did 1 coat of the Himalayan Blue Poppy. That was on top of it. And then on top of that, 1 coat of the Mako Light Flux, and then inside is the Himalayan Blue Poppy. Oh, look at the drippy drippy. So nice. There's the bottom. So you can see that underglaze that was applied, and you can see how it stains it and everything. But isn't that beautiful? Yeah, that one turned out great. And then, oh, I want to keep this. It's so good. All right, let me put this over here, and then let me share the last one I did. So this was playing with purples and pinks. And if you like purples and pinks, this is right up your alley. So I did the same thing, that royal purple speedball underglaze applied, wiped back, and then the briar rose, which is my pink Celadon, brushed on one coat. The wild aster, which is the purple, brushed on one coat. And then inside wild aster, and then the Mako light flux. So all three of these mugs that I was just showing the techniques, I gotta grab them back. The glaze application is exactly the same. It's just different colors, same underglaze that I used. Here, maybe if I hold it that way. I need an extra arm. This is really perfect though, isn't it? This is my, I might keep this one instead of, I do love the woodblock print ones, but yeah, that one. Okay, we're gonna move on because it's Easter Sunday and I have a Easter dinner to cook. I have cakes to bake. I have got macaroni and cheese to make from scratch. I have got so much. We're cooking a ham and a turkey today, so there's a few things that got to get done. So I can't spend all day unloading the kiln. Look at this. Isn't it cute? All right, so we made this platter in ClayShare Con, and it was during the using textured rollers, I believe, part that I did a tutorial on. Same exact thing as I did with those mugs. I used the royal purple speedball underglaze, and I applied that to the entire thing, and then I wiped it all back, and then I brushed on, starting in the center, the briar rose, one coat, and then coming out, this is the Himalayan blue poppy, one coat, and then the wild aster, one coat. And I did a little overlap, so you can see. See, there's a slight overlap, just so that we don't have too much of a harsh line. The design of this platter, we already have a line in the middle with a different texture. Do you see how it's a different texture here than it is here? So this is that woodblock flowers, and this is Minnie's lace. So the two textures I've already shared. And then the handles were made with the Diamond Core Tools handheld handle extruders right here. And I did use light flux again because I can't be stopped, and light flux is happening. And here's the back. So you can see brushed on, glaze, light flux. It's very, very cute. Happy with this. Perfect for Easter, right? Let's put that over here on the table and lift out some shells. Oh, that one came out good too. All right. So I had to do this today because it's Easter, and I had a bunch of pieces for Easter that had to be ready for Easter. They had to be ready for today. And I wasn't going to do a glaze firing, but I ran out of, I had to, right? Yeah, we'll do this one. Seems to be a theme going on right here, right? So we have the speedball. What color did we use? Royal purple underglaze, brushed on first and then wiped back. And then I applied, starting with the buttercup Celadon, brushed on. And then here coming out one, a little lily of the valley. And then over here is Himalayan blue poppy. So we got three colors on here. And you see how they blend so nicely together? And then light flux again on the rim. So basically the same theme. There's the back of it. I only did one quick coat, not very even. Sometimes I don't even glaze the back of pieces if I'm in a hurry. You don't need to if it's vitrified. But the front looks spectacular. So we're gonna put that over here. Very Eastery, but by putting that royal purple under, you know, by applying that first, it gives it more depth instead of just being this really bright. It would have been beautiful without it. It really would have. But if I hadn't of it, wouldn't have had the same depth, right? It would have had a whole different tone. It would have had this really brightness to it, which is lovely, but I wanted a little more interest. Celadon glazes are gorgeous, but sometimes they can be boring. It's true. So what do you need to make a Celadon glaze? What do you need to make a Celadon glaze sing? You need to have a surface that has something going on. I feel like you need to have texture or carving or something else on there. Although you can sometimes just have a gorgeous form and glaze it with a Celadon glaze and it just be a very simple, beautiful, minimalist look. But a lot of times they're very boring. So you need to do something. I like to put a stain underneath of some sort, whether that's the underglaze like I was doing with that royal purple. And I got another piece in here. We'll share this one. Same way, same thing. but by itself, it could get very boring. So I kept this one really, really simple. Also, I just want to say all of the clay I've been sharing with you is Laguna B-Mix 5 so far. This is B-Mix as well. So you'll notice the pink. This is the Briar Rose pink. It is a little duller on B-Mix than it is on porcelain. Just keep that in mind. Look at that. The royal purple first, wiped back, and then the Briar Rose, and then on the rim, just a bit of that Mako Light Flux. And there's the back. So you can see brushed on. So those of you who aren't using textured surfaces, you can see what it will look like. So that came out really sweet. This is the Moroccan tile. I like it a lot. If I had done it on porcelain, it would have been brighter. And I feel like the lighting in here is not very fair. As you can tell, the lighting is a little harsh. It's not natural lighting. So this will look even better like sitting on the table. It looks kind of dull in here. But I think if we had it, oh, you know what? This is great to share. Let me show you this. This is exactly what I was talking about a minute ago, right? I'll hold it this way so you can see. This one doesn't have any underglaze put on first. It's just the glaze. This has the underglaze. So do you see the difference? Do you see what I'm talking about with the depth? You just get a little different look. This is stunning. I mean, it really is. But this is too. So it just depends what you want. And it depends what color you use underneath. I went with a purple because the purple, it's different than what we expect with the blue. And it pulls a little different tone than the blue does. But I could have gone with black if I wanted to. Or if I was using yellows and oranges and the pink, maybe go with red, right? Because red would have looked really nice under there. Purple under the orange, I don't think would be great. So that's the only reason I wouldn't do purple, but purple under yellow still works. Orange is the only one that the purple kind of doesn't look great under. So another example of the Celadons by themselves. Now, I dipped this. I did not brush. Sometimes there's no need to brush it. Why would I brush this on? I have a bucket of glaze. These are dip and pour glazes. I can dip and pour it really fast and get it done. So all I did was I poured the Lily of the Valley green on the inside, and then you can see I got a little, look at that, little decal in there. And then outside I dipped it to here. You can see where I dipped it to in Briar Rose, turned it over, and then dipped it in the Buttercup Yellow. And this is on the Laguna 16 porcelain. So really interesting to see it on the porcelain, how that pink is very different than it is on the B-Mix. Let me grab the B-Mix piece. And I'll show you the difference. Look at the difference. Here it is, Briar Rose right here on porcelain, and here it is on B-Mix. Do you see the difference? You can see the difference. Looks much better. Anyhow, those of you who are using underglazed decals and you want to know if you can use my Celadons with it, absolutely 100%. As you can see, this is the cup we made a couple weeks ago using Sandbow Easter decals. And so look how great the bunny rabbit turned out. Really good, right? There's no zinc in my Celadon glazes, which can be an issue when you use underglazed decals. And then went ahead and glazed the bunny cup. This was a hand-built bunny we did using the Sandbow underglaze. I put the clear 2167 on and then just dipped it in the pink just to give it a little pink top. Now, I meant to, before I put it in the kiln, put light flux on it, but I was running out of time and apparently I got busy and I forgot to. So I might light flux this and put it back in the kiln, because do you see what I'm talking about? How it just sits there? I would like more drippiness going on with that pink. So I might put a little light flux on it and put it back in the kiln. But the decals look great. It's sweet. Yeah, we discussed during the making the cutting off of the bunny heads. If I was going to do it again, I think I would have cut around the decal and just cut the bunnies out. Maybe don't cut off the rabbit's heads. So, right? I mean, this is why we live and learn. Wait till you see what's down there. All right, so we did a daffodil cake stand actually it was a cupcake stand, not this past week, the week before in prime time, and I gave you guys a really awesome hand-drawn design that I drew for you, right? And then we made a cupcake stand, and I glazed it. And I didn't show you how to glaze it because I just clear glazed the top and then used my buttercup brushed on right there. So look at this. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna come over here because I don't think I should even be in this shot. So this is hand painted freehand. I gave you all, well, we used a drawing that I did. So it was my drawing that I laid on here, and I did some guidelines so we know where to paint, right? I used colors for earth for my color. Look at those, so nice. And we painted it on together. And then I used the buttercup because I felt like the buttercup was the perfect match with the yellow, since we were going with a daffodil theme. And I even did a little bit right there. It's perfect. Turned out great. Clear 2167. Look at that shine. Wait. Look how perfect it is. No pinholing, no crazing, no nothing. Just awesomeness. Yay. Okay, so. Yeah, that's awesome. Now I'm making a cake, but maybe I'll pull out some of the batter and make a cupcake for that cake stand because I got it, and it'd be sad not to have a cupcake on that cake stand today, right? Yeah, wait. The peace and love. This took so long, I don't even want to tell you. But look how amazing it is. There's the back. Hand built using GR Pottery Forms WA2 forms that they have. And the RD2 forms, I believe, is what they are actually called. And the colors for earth, for coloring in, we did the flooding technique on this beautiful dish. It's a shallow bowl. Yeah. Or a plate, whatever you want to call it. And then clear 2167, just so I can give you the sheen so you can see the glaze down in there. Turned out awesome. The peace and love roller, and then the rainbow. So I just rolled the peace and love through the center and then did the rainbow on the top and on the bottom. And, you know, yeah, there are two different rollers. So when you roll them, you might see the change from one roller to the other. That's because they're two different rollers. Is it a problem? Well, I tell you what, I won't mind using it. So no, it's not a problem. Not for me, at least. All right, put that over there. Gosh, I was like, I'll do this in 15 minutes. This will be a fast one. It won't take any time at all. What's the 22 minutes later? Yeah. All right, so we're getting to some of the Easter things now. Thank goodness, because I was wondering where those Easter plates were. Do I need my glasses? No. We can do it without. I don't need to see. It's fine. All right. So here we have the egg plate, drum roll. And you know, I went back and forth with debating on glazing this with a yellow. Maybe I'll hold it this way. No. But I didn't. I went clear, but I kind of wish I had done yellow. You know what I mean? Because look, the clear is fine, but I feel like the contrast between the orange. Do you see there's yellow in there already? From the underglaze. So this is the one we did together, and I did the underglaze decal, and then we applied the orange underglaze, and then we did some Mishima, we did stamping, and we did sgraffito, and that glare is fierce on there. There we go. So I did 3 techniques and then the underglaze, so 4 techniques. But it came out really cute. I might mother of pearl it. That's what might happen to that. All right, there's one. You ready for this? I got a huge shelf to lift out of here. Let me make sure none of the posts stick. Okay, got it. Ta-da! I told you it was a big shelf. Put that over here. And then the twin to the one that just came out, right here. except I didn't put the yellow in down here. I just did sgraffito and stamping. Do you see how soft that underglazed decal is from Sandbow? It's a really soft piece, but it's very cute and it's going to look great for Easter. Might have put yellow on it, so next time I make one, I'm going to do a yellow glaze instead of the orange. Just the clear with the orange. The yellow with the orange, I think, would have really... But, live and learn. Ooh. The plate to match the mug set. I could have gone a little heavier with the purple, I think. But it's very sweet. It has a vintage faded look. So this is for this set here. Look. Isn't that cute? So you get your little mug and your little plate. They match nicely. And it does have a vintage quality to it. So if you go a little heavier with your colors, you know, I did more of a watercolor look. So if you go heavier, you're going to get more of an opaque look. It's very sweet. And I like purple and green, so hey, worked out nicely. Huge nut piece. Well, I say huge piece. It took like 4 hours to carve. So huge as far as carving, but not huge as far as size. Although, it's not little. So this is a sakura blossom plate that I did put, oh, it's porcelain. We'll start with that. It's Laguna 16 porcelain that I then applied royal blue speedball underglaze to the surface and let it dry. Made the plate with GR Pottery Forms, the RD2 form. So it has a slight, barely noticeable curve, just slight curve. No line though. Nice smooth transition. And after the glaze had dried, the underglaze, I'm sorry, had dried to leather hard, I went ahead and carved this. And I just freehand carved all these little cherry blossoms, sakura blossoms. And it took a long time, but turned out beautiful. So I'm really happy with how this one worked. And there's the back, a little lumina hydrate on the back to keep it from cracking so that it can move during the firing. So that's a sweet one. Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? It looks like a decal, but it's not. You can see the texture in it when you move it. It could be a decal. Yeah. I mean, I could turn it into a decal if you all want it. Oh, maybe. It'd be beautiful. All right, so that's this one shelf. We got one more and then we're done. We got through everything. And then I get to go start cooking. Make sure my posts. So this kiln right here, I'm up on a little blocks and I have to lean far in. It's really sometimes hard. I'm not a super tall person, so getting into the bottom shelf can be tricky. I used to use a step stool sometimes to get down in, you know, to stand up so I can get down into there, but I can reach. Some of my favorite pieces are on the bottom. That turns out. All right, this is amazing. Tucker's Mid Smooth Stone Speck Clay. Look at it. Look at that speckled clay. Isn't that gorgeous? So this was brushed on. This is now Speedball Royal Blue underglaze. So there's your difference. This is Royal Blue underglaze, brushed on, wiped back, and then Lily of the Valley green brushed on one coat. Oh, it's so pretty. And I didn't do any flux around the rim, but it doesn't need it, does it? It's really, really great. So it goes with that. The other ones, where did I put them all? Over here. It's like a nesting set, right? I got the pink, got the green. There's one more, and it's in the kiln. There's one more. Where is it? It's in the kiln. Let's get it. Wait, let me pull it out and I'll tell you. Okay, I didn't do flux on this one either because this is Laguna 16 porcelain. Look at the white foot. Oh, it's so gorgeous. 2 feet. Yes, 2 feet, because 2 feet is better than 1 feet. 2 feet because this is a wide span and I didn't want to risk this slumping. Whenever I get 6 or 7 inches or larger, I always put a second foot ring on. So that's always been my go-to for years and should be yours as well. Inside is the royal purple speedball underglaze applied and wiped back. And then Himalayan blue poppy brushed on, one coat, brushed on. Look at that. Ah! Right? Okay, wait, let's get the other ones because this is what it was all about, right? We have this just in time for Easter. All these plates are going in the house to be used for Easter dinner. So what's really cool about this is it's showing you that these Celadons can be used on multiple different clays. Here I have it on the Tucker's Mid Smooth Stone Spec clay. Here I have it on Laguna B-Mix. And put that on there. And here I have it on the porcelain from Laguna. That's the Laguna 16. The WC617 is actually the number. I know that. Look at it. It's, love it. I love it. It's so, my favorite glaze, so I'll tell you my favorite Celadon glazes are these two. Lily of the Valley and Himalayan Blue Poppy are like my two favorites. And they match my shirt. So actually this one really matches my shirt. The pink I like, but I like the pink best on a porcelain or on the Tuckers. It looks good. On dark clay, it looks good. I don't love it on B-Mix. It's too close in tone to the color of the clay. But what a sweet set, right, to have for Easter. All right, put those over there. And there's one more piece in the kiln. Ah, don't fall in. Don't fall in the kiln, Jess. This we glazed during ClayShare Con. Are you ready? You sitting down? Wow! There! Did you expect it? Did you know it was coming? Yeah, so all the Celadons got on this train. All of them jumped on board this. So I brushed them all on. And this is the great thing about the Celadons. You have a lot of control over them. And we were talking earlier in the kiln opening just now that when we brush them on, we get these really straight lines. They stay. It's a very stable glaze. It's not going to move on you. It's going to stay put, which can be great. We want that sometimes. Sometimes we don't. This is an example of when we want that. So this is on the Moroccan tile texture rolling pin. And I had such control over it that I could make little patches of color and it doesn't run or bleed. Now, if it did a little, it would have been okay because these colors blend so nicely with each other. But the two that I worry the most about touching each other are the orange and purple because they'll just go a muddy color. But look it, they didn't. They look great. And then I just did the handles in the Lily of the Valley because that's my favorite. And then there's the bottom, just one coat, Lily of the Valley. This is Laguna B-Mix is the clay I used for this. So this is probably my favorite piece out of the kiln opening because it has all the colors. Who doesn't want all the colors? Would the carved piece, yeah, see, I really like that one too. How you pick? It's like picking a favorite child. You can't do that. So my favorite platter, this one right here. My favorite mug, this one. Yeah, right? That right there. And then, of course, we can't forget the amazingness of, look, this right here. Yeah. Yeah, turned out great. So, a lot of really beautiful things in this kiln opening. I'm really excited to share them with you all. You know, if you're going to use my Celadon glazes or any glaze that's formulated for dipping and pouring, they were never meant to be brushed on. It's just by luck that we can brush them on. And they're not good for every application. So you just got to get to know the glazes and give them a try. And I think you'll be really happy with it. But these are things that are going to take a couple firings for you to get it right if you're just new to brushing on dip and pour glazes. But you'll get there. I know you will. I think I'm going to do a tutorial on brushing on dip and pour glazes on a mug this next week because I've seen a lot of people posting pictures that, you know, it would be nice to have a tutorial for. So I'll make that happen. But I hope you all have an awesome Easter Sunday. And I will see you all, not Monday morning for Good Morning ClayShare, because guess what? Tomorrow's my birthday. So I'm taking the day off. And I don't know. I won't be on the line. But I'll see you guys on Wednesday for live. And we'll definitely do the glazing tutorial. And we'll have another tutorial. So you'll have to tune in and see it. All right, everyone. Be well. Stay safe. And make some great pots. Bye, everyone.